welcome to another episode of Power Toku Show DX. We're finally back from a little break. Both Josh and I were a bit busy. And so, I'm Luis, known as SentaiSeiya, and with me is the Batra to my Mothra.
Josh Reed, also known as Jmann.
Alright, so you ready to jump into some news and reviews after, a couple weeks off?
Yeah, after a nice long hiatus, let's get into some toy talk. Okay guys, the first bit of news we have is actually SH Figuarts Hokkaider. This is the classic Hokkaider villain. And oh my goodness gracious, this thing looks fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so gorgeous. You guys may remember we did the recommendation a couple of months ago for Mechanical Violator Hokkaider. This is basically the original version of him.
Mm-hmm. I love the exposed brain at the top.
Oh yeah, it's such a classic design.
Yeah, it's so retro.
Mm-hmm.
So, this is coming out later this year?
We don't, I would assume so, but we don't have an exact release date or price yet. We just have these couple of images.
I wonder if they're waiting to see how the Hokkaider does before they actually announce this as an actual, production toy. So,
well, I mean, no matter what it does, it's going to end up being a web exclusive because Hokkaider was a web exclusive. But I really hope the new Hokkaider reboot does really well.
Hopefully it doesn't go the way of the Space Sheriff series that just kind of fizzled out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I hope it does more. At least they fixed the one issue that I had with the Space Sheriff Gavin movie in that they actually updated the Hokkaider suit. They didn't just use the old, suit designs. They revamped it, and so that was one thing.
Yeah, it's looking a little bit different. So we'll look forward to see if this comes out later this year. Like you said, it's probably going to be a web exclusive, though. So just a bit of a tease for the time being. And let's go to the next piece. SH Figuarts Side Machine, also from Hokkaider. This is also just a tease. It's just a prototype. But it looks good. I actually don't remember what this bike looks like. I'm really not that familiar with Hokkaider, so how about you? Does it look right to you?
Yeah, looks fine. I mean, I can't wait to see some color images, but so far everything looks really good. Hokkaider is lovely hunched over, as you can see in the little middle picture.
Yeah, it looks like he sits well on it too. Yeah, sometimes the Kamen Rider figures look a little funky on their bikes, but it looks like he's got a pretty natural pose.
He looks pretty good, like the Kamen Rider Ichigo, how it looks good on the new Cyclone that they released. He gets all hunched over and looks good. I really like my action figures to be hunched over onto their bike, so I'm probably going to get all of these things as soon as they're released.
Even if they're web exclusives?
Even they're all going to be web exclusives.
Yeah, cool. So, I mean, just another tease again from Bandai. And let's jump on to the next thing, which is not a tease. It's something that's actually happening now. SH Monster Arts Godzilla from the new movie 2014.
Luis is being bad, and he hasn't seen the movie yet.
I know. My dog's been, going through some medical issues, so she comes first. I mean, I had every intention to see it this weekend, but yeah,
So
maybe tomorrow.
That'll be something that we'll be talking about the next episode.
Yeah. So, this prototype has been kicking around for a while. I actually got to see it at Toy Fair. Of course, that was just, the gray prototype, not painted and pretty looking like this. It looks good. I mean, it looks like they're hiding the joints better than they do with some of the other Monster Arts. So, we had talked before about the... what were we talking about before?
The NECA releases?
Yeah, the NECA releases and how those, hide the joints very well. But it looks like Bandai's up in their game, too, so...
Well, I mean, that would make sense. This is 6,800 yen, which is around $70 compared to the $20 NECA release.
Yeah. So this is definitely going to be the definitive version for those that want the ultimate Godzilla from the new movie. It seems like everybody's loving it, so I'm guessing this is going to sell well.
Yeah, they've actually greenlit Godzilla 2.
Yeah, I saw they had like the highest opening in May for any movie, I think. So it's kicking butt so far. It's the highest grossing opening also this year. So
Hmm.
the big G-Man is making some money.
He is the king of the monsters.
Yeah, so I can't wait to see it. I mean, I'm a big Godzilla fan, big fan of Bryan Cranston.
If you're
So
a huge fan of Godzilla, no spoiler, no like full review. We'll talk about this later, but you'll enjoy it. If you
yeah,
love Godzilla, go see it. Do yourself a favor. Let this movie do well so we can get a sequel,
yeah,
and we'll explain all that stuff next time.
yeah. So a couple pieces of news. Just went through them real quick because most of them were teasers.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the reviews. There was a whole bunch of reviews while we were gone. Ghost 13 did a couple. There's a couple other reviewers that did some other reviews. So rather than talk about all of them like we normally do, we're just going to pick a couple. Um, you know, Sorry to the reviews out there that didn't get talked about this week.
We'll try to
Uh,
get you next time.
yeah, so we're going to start out with one of the reviews by Ghost 13.
And
And this
I've been sitting here the entire time, so they pretty sure they know what we're going to talk about.
let's not talk about this. Let's talk about something else.
Yeah, something else that we just haven't been showing for the past like 2 minutes.
Yeah, so Ghost 13 reviewing something that's not stylized, something that's not in the SIC line.
This is heresy.
Yeah, but it is a web exclusive, and that's kind of a thing with him. He's no stranger to paying those premium prices for his toys, so
And God bless him for it.
yeah, definitely. So, Kamen Rider Scissors is from Kamen Rider Ryuki. This is one of the exclusives. He's one of the lesser writers. He shows up, yeah, shows up briefly at the beginning. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I was just going to say because he's lame.
Yeah, he's not cool at all. I wasn't a big fan of the design, but Ghost 13 seemed to like it enough to, shell out the cash for it.
At least he was eaten.
Yeah, he was.
Spoiler alert for the
Yeah.
first like 4 episodes of Ryuki.
Yeah. Somebody had to die, though. I mean, basically, you have to show the consequences of losing, a battle in the Rider War.
Yeah, I mean, if you do not fight, you will not survive. And sometimes, even if you do fight, you just get eaten by the monster you were supposed to make a contract with.
Yeah, so now we can talk about the broken deck later on and talk about how that plays into this. So, basically, it looks awesome. I mean, it's got that nice shiny orange finish. Comes with the own stand. Each one of the Ryuki characters came with its own stand with the name of the rider at the bottom. Looks great. He's got enough accessories. He doesn't come with the monster, though, his contract monster, which is a bit of a bummer.
Yeah. Of all the people to come with their contract monsters, I wish he would have, just so I could pose him just going,
Yeah. So for those who don't know, in Kamen Rider Ryuki, the Kamen Riders make contracts with these monsters and they help them fight. The first couple of releases came with the monsters. You had Ryuki and Knight with each of the respective monsters. But then once some of these started going exclusives, and even the non-exclusives like Oja, they were just the standalone rider. So it's a bummer, really. I loved the Ryuki line at first. The fact that you got the rider and the monster. I mean, my gold standard for the figures is the St. Cloth Myth line, where you get the character, you get the object mode, you get so much. It's so much, such a bang for the buck with the St. Cloth Myth line. That to me, the only SH Figure Arts that comes close to that are the first couple Ryuki releases, and also Odin, because he came with his God Phoenix or Gold Phoenix, was it?
yeah, I believe it's Gold Phoenix.
Gold Phoenix, yeah.
God Phoenix is the
Gotcha
thing
Man.
from Gotcha Man, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, so it's kind of a bummer that they didn't release the riders with their monsters later on in the line.
Yeah, I mean, it
Yeah.
kind of makes sense, though.
Mm.
That could get expensive, and honestly, the Ryuki figure arts, the first couple, weren't actually that much more expensive than the normal fig arts, and you
Yeah.
just got so much bang for your buck.
Yeah.
That Ryuki is just gorgeous.
Well, that's the thing, though, is they set you so high, such a high standards at the beginning of the line. You're expecting to get the rider and the monster. You get the deck, you get the weapons. I mean, it's just such, like you said, such a bang for the buck that later on when they announced the exclusives and the regular releases without the monsters, it was a bit of a disappointment.
Yeah, I believe the first one to come out that didn't have his monster was Zolda, but that was because Magna Giga came separately, was a giant separate release, which completely made sense because Magna Giga is ginormous.
Yeah. So, I mean, if they would have done the monsters with the whole line, I would have totally gone in and got each one of the monster or the writers from this line, but they didn't, so saved me some money in the end.
Yeah, like one thing that I would actually recommend for a lot of the web exclusive releases, a lot of those figures were actually released in the Figma line for Kamen Rider Dragon Knight, and you can usually pick those up for stupidly cheap.
Yep.
So I would actually recommend if you don't have the extra $70 to $100 depending on current aftermarket prices, I would say go with the Figmas. And if you just have them posed in a pose behind all the other riders, you really can't tell a difference unless you get really close and you're like, this one is slightly smaller and has rubber hips.
But I mean, even the Figmas look good. Obviously, Bandai outdid them a little bit. The details are better. The cards are better looking. It's just more, true to the source. But like you said, if you want to get those extra riders, you can get them for like 10, 15 bucks. A lot of them are kicking around at different retail shops.
Actually did a review of several of those Figmas.
Mm-hmm.
They were all really good except for Knight, who just fell apart for some reason. And I'm pretty sure mine was just a weird one because at first I was initially really turned off from those Figmas because I was just like, this is really weird for a Figma. Apparently they can't do male figures. And then I got a couple of review samples of the other Figmas and I was like, oh, these are actually fantastic. Looks like mine was just a fluke.
Yeah, it happens. Do you want to talk about this review, though?
Yeah, we should probably talk about this review instead of
talk about the differences between Figma and Fig Arts.
I also thought it was funny that the Figmas came out, and then just a couple of months later, Bandai unveiled their Ryuki that was specifically there just to pimp slap Max Factory.
Yeah.
But, enough about that, Ghost 13 did a great job with this review that we're ignoring.
Yeah, so he said it's got a lot of good accessories, looks cool. It's even got the cracked deck for when Knight basically breaks it, and then he gets eaten by not Knight, but Scissors gets eaten by the monster. So, awesome pictures, just really good posing. It almost makes me want to buy this. If I like the design more, I would think about picking this up.
See, I have an affinity towards all of the Ryuki designs because I've seen both Dragon Knight and Ryuki, and I've loved both. And so it gets me whenever I see these designs. Then I'm just like, ooh, I need to have that. And then I'm just like, ooh, these are really expensive. I don't need to have it that bad.
Yeah, so awesome job by Ghost 13. He did another SIC review on the site also, if you want to check it out, at CollectionDX.com. But we figured we'd take a break from talking about his SICs for once.
Since he's doing something weird.
Yeah.
But I approve. Good job,
Yeah.
Ghost 13. Just keep doing reviews, and I will keep loving you forever.
Yeah. All right. So let's talk about some Super Sentai stuff.
Yeah. Hurricane Blue and Hurricane Yellow. This is actually a funny release because this was a review sample that Bluefin sent to us, but it is the Japanese packaging.
Yeah, that was weird. They just didn't bother changing that.
I think they changed it for the actual U.S. release. I just think that since they were sending it to us, a couple of weeks early, before it actually released, I guess they just sent us the Japanese version. Just
cool. They had some kicking around. That's really cool of them. So, I mean, Deku loves himself some Ninja Storm, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh yeah, dude. He loves Ninja Storm and he loves Hurricaneger. So. This was definitely a set that he was planning on picking up anyway, and since we were able to get it as a review sample, it was a no-brainer since he had already done the Red Ranger review.
Yeah. I really wish there was more Hurricaneger available, subtitled. And not like crappy Chinese subtitles, like actual good subtitles, because it's one show that I would love to just watch all the way through.
The crappy Chinese subtitles are the way to go. That's how I watched Kamen Rider Black RX.
Yeah. I've had enough bad experiences with crappy Chinese subtitles. I just stay away from them now. I bought a box set of Mobile Suit Gundam, and one episode, it was a Xeon party. They were all mingling and stuff, and they were saying Merry Christmas to each other a whole lot. They must have gotten the the subtitles from some other show, some Christmas theme show that wasn't related to Gundam. So that really turned me off to Chinese subtitles.
Yeah.
So, anyways, back to Hurricaneger.
Yeah. One thing that kind of weirds me out about this review, not the review, but the figures themselves, is that her legs almost look really weird underneath her skirt.
Yeah.
That was something I noticed while I was playing around with her.
He also said that the skirt doesn't actually open up like some of the other female Rangers, right?
No, it opens up.
Does it? Because I think he said it was like a little bit limiting with the legs.
Yeah, definitely limiting, but it still opens up. But you know, even with the limitations, D-Kun is able to get some fantastic poses. This guy's a master. He's the one who taught me how to pose my action figures.
Yeah. We gotta have him teach all of us how to be as good as him.
Yeah, we need to just have him on a show and like have him do an action figure posing workshop.
Yeah, we could do that for a good 30 minutes.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Yeah. So that was blue, and then for yellow, he said it's basically a lot like red, except for the helmet, you know, and the paint, and you know the symbols and stuff. It's basically red all over again, which isn't a bad thing because he said red was pretty solid.
Yeah. He had an issue with the shoulders on the red that he ended up fixing, but he didn't have any trouble with yellow. So.
So, really cool. All the accessories you would want for your Hurricaneger or Ninja Storm set. And again, awesome job by D-Kun.
Yep.
Yeah.
He always does fantastic.
Yeah.
Like, that just looks great.
Yeah.
All three of them together.
The Sanjo pose. Yeah.
Oh, so good.
Yeah. So, good job. And I guess that's it for this review.
Yeah, it is.
Let's jump back to Kamen Rider.
All right.
And so next up we have Kamen Rider Kabuto from Kamen Rider Kabuto. And this is the renewal version with the new renewal body. So this is a review by Veer. And he loves himself some Kabuto, so it just made sense for him to review this piece.
Oh, yeah. I think Kabuto may have been one of his first Kamen Rider series that he watched. And Kabuto is one of the best, so...
Yeah. I like some of it, so...
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's probably not for everyone, but in my opinion, it's one of the best. I love Kabuto.
Yeah. I think I loved the first half. The second half, I was a little lukewarm on, but, I mean, it was an enjoyable show for the most part. So anyways, let's talk about the review. We have a new type of packaging for the SH Figure Arts.
It's weird, and I don't like things that are new.
Really?
Nah, I'm fine with it, but...
I'll say I like it.
Change? What?
We don't have that box with the window opening where you can see the Kamen Rider anymore. It looks classy, though. I like it. It's a nice change of pace. And this way you can differentiate the regular release from the renewal release.
Yeah. That's probably why they did it.
Yeah, it makes sense. So, he said it was awesome. Just, it's such a perfect figure. No real issues. Paint apps are perfect. Articulation's awesome. I mean, the detail is just incredible on this. I think with this one, they basically use the proportions of the suit actor, right? As a basis for the figure. And so that's why it looks like it came out right of the show. So,
if you remember, the original Kamen Rider Kabuto was incredibly lanky. That was back when that's the style of their fig arts. Everything was super thin and stylized.
Yeah.
But recently they've been like, we need to add some bulk to these guys.
Yeah. It looks good. Basically, with this, I'm at where I was with the St. Cloth Mythline when they announced the EX releases. I had just bought all the EX Gold Saints, and now I had just bought all the Kamen Riders in the regular line, and they're like, we're doing renewal versions, and I'm like, crap, I really don't feel like buying them all over again. So it looks awesome, but I don't know if I'm going to get it. How about you?
I am absolutely getting it as soon as something happens. I'm not sure what I was trying to say there.
As soon as you have some money to buy it with?
That would really help.
If that happens, you can actually go out and buy one. So, I mean, it looks awesome. Maybe I'll pick one up down the line, but probably not right now. Not speaking bad of the figure, like I said, I just went out and bought a lot of the Kamen Riders last year. I think I have pretty much all of the main riders that have been released so far. So, anyways, this is an awesome review by Veer. He's gotten a lot better with his posing. His photography's come a long way too. Yeah, just a great looking figure. Comes with all the accessories you need.
Mm-hmm. He loved it. He said that it was a superb figure.
Yeah.
So it is highly recommended.
By Veer.
Yeah.
So, great review, and I think that's going to be it.
Yeah. I mean, that's it for all of our toy talk.
Yeah. Let's talk about those shows we've been neglecting for a couple weeks.
Oh, yeah, we have so many. Okay, guys, so we are going to talk about episodes 11 and 12 of ToQger. These episodes were pretty good because we are actually introduced to the Emperor of Darkness.
Zed.
And
yeah.
Apparently he is really into light because he was born into darkness. He's been in darkness his entire life, and now he's just like, oh yeah, I want to look at everything that's shining.
Mm-hmm. So I wasn't expecting him to be a human villain.
Yeah, I was expecting another monster, but, you know...
Yeah, so...
With his obsession towards light, I have a feeling he might end up becoming a ToQger at some point.
I was thinking the same thing, too. He could turn out to be, like, Orange. The next one, yeah.
It's
that would make
possible.
sense. Yeah. Or you could just stay bad for the rest of the show.
Yeah. They still haven't fixed my issues with Greta. She's still creepy and is a giant baby. And this time she tried to kill the Emperor of Darkness because she didn't want to marry him.
That was a little dark for a kid's show. Don't you think?
Yeah, she was just standing there holding the knife. She was just like, this is the only way! And then Zed's just like, you were not going to be able to do that with it shaking.
Yeah. It's some, like, creepy, like, Shakespeare stuff.
Yeah.
Like, she knows no other way to get out of this, you know, three-way relationship. She just has to end his life. I don't know. It was odd. Makes it even weirder that after she tries killing him, he basically sees the light in her, and he starts falling for her a little bit.
Yeah, which is weird because she's still a giant baby.
Yeah.
And,
so now it's a young human guy into a giant monster baby.
Yeah, this... So many fan fictions are being written right now.
And
in a darker place, darker part of the internet.
Yeah, and that we're not going there.
No.
Our show train does not stop at that stop, so...
No, it's like the elephant graveyard in The Lion King. We should never go there.
Yeah. And what made that even weirder, though, is that Greta drops the handkerchief that Schwartz gave her, so now maybe she's into the Emperor? I don't know, it's weird.
Well, she kind of drops it and then Schwartz picks it up.
Yeah.
And he's just like,
Yeah.
I kind of see what's happening.
Yeah. I really hope that Schwartz isn't into Greta now because of it. Like he can't have her kind of a thing. I don't know. So anyways, the show is great because we now have the main bad guy showing up. So we got some story development.
Mm-hmm.
The ToQger are basically their imagination is taken away by the Lamp Shadow, who's kind of an oxymoron of a monster because he's a dark monster that casts light. So it was basically to test the ToQger to see whether or not they can break away from that darkness. And the only one that can at first is Red. And as we were told in like the first episode, he's got the biggest imagination of them all. So made sense. You get to see some of the ToQger doing normal everyday jobs. Or in the case of Pink, she's a model.
Yeah.
Which,
dude, she is such an adorable model. I was just like, aww.
I don't know. I don't think she made a very good model. Personally, I don't think she's that cute.
I didn't think she was before, but they did a good job with her model thing.
Yeah. And then Yellow became the parking meter maid.
that was really perfect.
Yeah. And of course, Blue was a pencil-pushing guy working in an office, and that just, perfectly fits, so...
And then Green was just a student, so... It makes sense, because he also has no personality, so... whatever.
Somebody hates Green.
I don't hate him, there's nothing to like.
Yeah.
So you don't yet.
So you don't like him. So anyways, yeah. that's pretty much what happened. The first episode was it started off a little bit lighthearted. They go to the amusement park, they have some fun on the rides, and then lo and behold, the Dark Emperor Zet shows up. So I like where the show is going. We're finally getting some good character development, or story development, I should say.
Yeah, not character development.
Yeah, not really. Yeah.
Well, actually, everyone's had some pretty good development except for Green. He's still useless.
Yeah. Pink,
I mean,
though.
they tried to do story development with Green, but I don't think it ever worked out.
Yeah, Pink hasn't developed much too much either at this point.
Yeah, but she was already like a pretty strong character starting out, in my opinion. Just because she was very unique in that she was super imaginative, so I kind of already got where they were going with her.
But, I mean, I like the fact that the show's actually, taking off now. We're past the point where we're introducing the Rangers and their primary and secondary mechas, and now we get into the meat and potatoes of the show.
That was the weird part. I'm just looking at the screenshots right now.
Yeah.
You know what? That's the screen cap for this week. There we go.
Yep, and we get to see the Tokyo, which is, just the combination of the Diesel-O and the Tokyo.
Yeah, they've just taken everything they've gotten so far and just sort of smacked it together.
Yeah.
Which is totally cool. I like that.
Yeah. That makes one of us. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of the combination designs, but we'll talk about that when I review the Tokyo. Hopefully the review is going to be up next week. So, I think that's all I have to say about this. Right?
Yeah, I thought the episodes were pretty enjoyable.
Yeah.
Tokati is wonderful as always. Blue is like my favorite character of the show so far.
Yeah.
He's probably the best developed at this point.
Yeah, definitely.
His character really shines through.
Yeah. They picked up a really good actor for him, too.
Yeah.
He's got that goofy, serious, kind of awkward character down pretty well. Alright, so speaking of story development, let's jump to Gaim.
Oh, Gaim.
Holy crap.
Everything is happening in Gaim, and it's so good.
Yeah. So, before the last couple episodes, I was thinking, Michi's going to start going darker and darker, but it's going to take him a while. And it took him an episode or two, and then he's pretty much over the edge at this point.
Yeah, I think he's so far gone at this point, he has to have a pretty huge redemption story. They're more than likely going to have a pretty huge redemption story at some point for him.
You know what? I'd be okay if he stays as a villain. I think they've done a good job at progressing him from, being a normal, shy, overachieving student to this, plotting, evil character that just doesn't care for friends or family anymore.
Yeah, he is literally straight up evil at this point.
Yeah. I mean, he attacked Kota, and then he hesitated a little bit. But now, basically, we have Sengoku Ryoma and his little henchman trying to off Takatora, and you have Michi just standing there and watching. Just cold-blooded. He has no feelings. He doesn't really bother helping his brother. I mean, his own flesh and blood is about to die in front of his eyes. Luckily for us, though, Takatora survives the fall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love me some Takatora.
Yeah, it would have been sad without him. And so he meets up with the White Overlord, and he explains a lot of what's happened with that civilization. Basically, the forest showed up. It created a new forbidden fruit. People were fighting for it. And so he basically won, and he thought that he had the right idea, that basically only the strong should survive. And it mirrors basically what's going on with the humans, that's where they were going with Yggdrasil. That was their plan, is they're only going to save a select few. And that didn't work out for the previous civilization. The strongest of the strong ended up killing everybody else. And that's how the overlords came to be. They were the only ones left. So there's a whole lot of development there. After Michi watches Takatora die, he basically uses Takatora's seed and transforms into his Kamen Rider form and tricks Gaim and almost kills him.
Yeah.
But luckily for him, Baron knows what's going on, and he helps him. But it's so weird that Baron wouldn't just flat out, tell him, hey, dude, that guy's trying to kill you, and it's Michi.
Well, the way he sees it, it's like not his business. What is going on between Michi and Kota is none of his business, but he now sees Michi as an enemy, so he's going to attack Michi at any point. So it's just like...
But it's always conveniently when Gaim needs help that he attacks Michi.
Yeah.
So
I think Baron secretly really likes Gaim.
Yeah.
And they're like super secret best friends.
See? Remember at the beginning when we started doing Power Toku? And I hadn't watched Gaim yet, or much of it, and I mentioned that they were friends, and you're like, no, they're not friends. They're totally going to become bros at the end of the show.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, so anyways, he's still secretly, keeping that within him. He's helping out Gaim, but not to the extent where he's going to reveal what Michi's secret is. Yeah, I mean, just awesome episodes. Michi just went batshit crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then it also sets up the crossover for the next episode, where we're going to see ourselves some Hakkaider.
And Kikaider.
And Kikaider, yeah, that's what I meant to say. Both of them. Anyways, those two. So, hopefully, it's going to give us a little break from all this story development in Gaim. I don't know about you, but my brain has to, process a lot of this after I finish watching the episode.
Yeah, it was a really nice break. Like, Gaim is doing really good about, if they do have a filler episode, they carefully disguise it in something awesome happening, like introducing a new character or something like that, just to, keep your interests up. Yeah. And so, the Kikaider episode was just a one-off episode featuring, Kikaider from the new reboot movie.
Yeah.
And, I mean, nothing story-wise happens, but it was a really enjoyable episode that we'll talk about next week.
Yeah, because I haven't watched it yet. For once, I'm the bad person that hasn't watched all the episodes.
Finally, it's not me.
Yeah. All right, so I think that's going to do it for shows. Once again, Super Mega Force is MIA. Who knows when they're going to start up again? So we'll talk about that when it kicks back up.
Yeah, when we actually have something else to talk about.
We can talk about the reruns.
Yeah.
All right, so that just leaves the recommendation part of the show. And so there's this movie going around in theaters currently. People are liking it. And it celebrates the 60-year anniversary of Gojira.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Neighbors.
Oh, no. That's just celebrating Seth Rogen being Seth Rogen. So, we're going to talk about the original from 1954.
And I should go ahead and point out that we're talking about the Japanese horror tokusatsu film Gojira from 1954 and not Godzilla King of the Monsters from 1956.
Yeah. With those added extra scenes with the American actor dude. Yeah.
For those of you who are unaware, whenever they brought Gojira to the States, they, called it Godzilla King of the Monsters, and they shot a bunch of scenes with an actor named Raymond Burr, who plays Steve Martin, which is awesome. And so it took a lot of the dark undertones of the original film and just sort of turned it into American cheese.
That does the film a lot of disservice, though. I mean, a lot of the heart and soul of the movie is those undertones, the whole anti-nuclear theme, Dr. Zarasawa basically having to come to terms with having to use this ultimate weapon he has for the good of humanity, but he knows that once he introduces that weapon to the world, it's out there and people can use it for the wrong purposes. I mean, it's awesome. It just captures that anti-nuclear weaponry feeling that Japan had at the time. I mean, it hadn't been too much before this.
It had been about 9 years at that point.
So, I mean, there's still probably some reconstruction happening at the time, and people were still picking up their lives from what had happened. I mean, for those who lived through World War II, that was still fresh in their minds. So, I can see how the Japanese public just, really could relate to this movie and the feelings that they had within them. So that's why I love this movie. It captures a point in time in Japan that most of us are never going to experience, but we can feel those feelings through this movie.
They do an excellent job conveying that, and it's in a very entertaining way. It's a giant monster running around tearing up buildings. But there's also that, you know that this is a metaphor for basically the atomic bomb.
Mm-hmm. And so a lot of people say that Godzilla himself is a metaphor for the atomic bomb. He's just this crazy, unstoppable force that just causes so much devastation.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I thought Dr. Zarazawa's oxygen destroyer was kind of like the atomic bomb too. That's how I took it when I first watched the movie, because he has to, weigh the benefits and the consequences of using that at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
It's kind of a jab to the U.S., to the U.S. who basically use the atomic weapons. They probably outweighed the consequences and the benefits of using those, but maybe the Japanese people saw it as irresponsible at the time to introduce such weaponry out into the world. So, I mean, it's an awesome movie. It kicked off so many other Godzilla films afterwards.
So many terrible Godzilla films. I mean, I love every single one of them, but there are some stinkers.
I mean, after this, it basically became, let's find a way for Godzilla to fight another monster.
Godzilla Raids Again was the sequel to Gojira. Well, technically it was Gojira Raids Again, but they tried to recreate the magic of the original Gojira, because this was just a smash hit, just fantastic. And so they tried to do it again with the same dark tones, but it didn't do it as well. And so after Godzilla Raids Again, they were just like, let's just make it super cheese. Just super cheese everywhere.
Mm-hmm. And so, from what I've heard, the new Godzilla movie really tries to go back to the roots and capture a lot of these feelings that were put into the original movie. So, since I haven't seen it, we'll talk about that next week, and we can discuss whether or not that's true from what I've heard. So, awesome movie, highly recommended.
It is a tokusatsu classic.
Yeah.
You need to watch this movie now.
Mm-hmm. I would say even if you're not into tokusatsu, this is one of those movies you have to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Like, even if you're not into like Japanese films, you have to watch like Seven Samurai. That's just a classic. No ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Mm-hmm.
So, great movie. On the off chance some non-Toku fan is watching this, watch Gojira, 1954.
I think there is a deluxe DVD and Blu-ray set that is, Godzilla and its original Gojira, like in high definition, and then you've also got Godzilla King of the Monsters in like this 2-pack, and it's just like, it's really cool. And I don't think it's that expensive right now on Amazon.
No, I don't think so. So, really cool movie, really worth watching. A great place to start for anybody who hasn't watched any Godzilla.
Probably the best place to start.
Yeah. So, great. All the way around. No complaints from me. Cool special effects, too, for the time when you think about it.
Yeah, and I just realized I have a screen cap that is not from the original Godzilla.
Yeah, that goofy-looking Godzilla.
And I was just like, oh, I was not paying attention to my screenshots.
I was like, I don't remember that. But then, of course, I haven't seen the American one. So I was thinking, is that like something they reshot for the American version and that I don't know about? Mm-hmm. No? Okay. So
that was just me not paying attention and got the wrong screenshot. This is from the original.
That's from the original. You're talking about the one where he's in the center of the screen, right?
And then you've got all the the tanks and stuff pointed at him, and I was just like, yeah, this one. That one. Like, that's not from Gojira.
Alrighty.
That's not at all. Okay, cool.
So, you're gonna superimpose something over that, or are we just gonna like?
We're just gonna have to deal with it. I'm glad that we caught it before we actually, stopped recording, so I didn't have to put in a bunch of annotations saying, "Guys, we messed up." Like the other times whenever I've messed up stuff.
Yeah. So, all right, that's it for the recommendation this week, and for a show, pretty much, right?
Yeah.
So, this has been another episode of Power Toku Show DX. I'm Luis, also known as SentaiSeiya. I go by @SentaiSeiya on Twitter. You can catch me on CollectionDX. Not so much the last couple of weeks, but I'll put up a couple of reviews in the next weeks to come. And Jman, where can people find you?
You can find me on the site as Jman. You can also find me on the Twitters @JmanDX. I haven't been
You've been absent?
I have been absent for several weeks for a while. Just getting life in order. For those who are unaware, I just graduated college, and so I'm having to get my life in order at this point, so it's been really hectic.
Yeah, I feel you. Sometimes life happens and you just can't review toys.
Yeah.
Which is sad.
It is sad because I really like toys.
Yeah, I miss taking pictures. Anyways, so that's where you can find us, and hopefully we're gonna be here next week.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah, 3 weeks later.
Yeah, 3 weeks later we have another catch-up episode.
Sorry, guys. No, so anyways, it's been another great show. All right, and so you guys can also get a hold of us through our email, powertoku@collectiondx.com. And speaking of getting in touch with us through email, we had a little contest a couple weeks ago. And Josh, we have a winner. We have a couple people that sent in answers. And who was the lucky winner of the figure arts that you touched?
And licked and caressed. The winner was Chris Gaston. So just to remind you guys, the question was, in the first episode of Kiba Ranger, what was the toy that Akagi Nobuo ogled in the store that was so expensively cheap? And that was actually the Great 5, the DX Great 5 from Mask Man. That was the correct answer.
Yep, and a couple of people got it right. He was the fastest one, though. We put up the show, and it went up
within an hour.
Yeah.
I was just like, you just skipped to the end, didn't you?
But then how did he know there was going to be a giveaway?
Oh, well, yeah.
Yeah, unless he's psychic.
Yeah, maybe Chris is magic.
Yeah, maybe he's watching us right now. So, anyways, send us emails to let us know how we're doing. We're going to have some giveaways also going forward. I'm probably going to do some spring cleaning pretty soon. I know for a fact there's another giveaway, but that's not going to happen for another week or two. So, stay tuned, keep watching, and we'll see you guys next week. Hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully. See you guys.